Previously on Desperate Housewives.
So all that stuff about Justin being a fascist doesn't apply?
Yeah, we're moving on. Hello!
Dang it. Dang it, I like that discussion.
Welcome.
Let's bring it back around.
Welcome, okay.
Bring sexy back.
Yeah, we'll bring sexy back in just a minute, but we would like to thank you for tuning in to what are we calling it these days?
Barely.
Huh?
Barely.
Barely?
Barely a podcast.
Barely. This is gonna be a real black episode, if you know what I mean.
What are you, racist?
You know, black bears, grizzly bears.
I don't think that black and bears correlate enough to make a pun out of it.
It's gonna be a real black episode, is all I'm trying to say.
Kill yourself.
Oh man, this cougar is not doesn't look very good in the graphics department.
Pulling the chicks.
Speaking of graphics, in this really not great looking cougar. Today, oh, I get it. Today we're Jesus, this is really bad graphics. Today we are talking about some of the best graphically looking games we've played.
Graphically looking games.
I don't know. Just some of the best graphics. Like, I don't know.
Best aesthetically appeals.
Aesthetically.
We're talking about the aesthetic of games. Like, okay, we understand that the gameplay is the most important part of the game.
Say it with me.
Gameplay and then arguably story after that. But graphics are always really cool to have, especially when they're awesome. And having awesome maps helps too. So that's what we're talking about. And I'm going to start it off with a game that now I think doesn't look very good. Eric would disagree because he mods the hell out of it. But Skyrim looked so good when I first got that game on PS3. Now when I played on PS3, I'm like, oh, but PC Master Race, dude. But back then, that game looked amazing with the snow and everything. I remember when I was first, like when that dragon first landed on top of that tower and what is that city called? Or the place you start? No, the place you start out in.
Helgen.
River.
Yeah,
Helgen.
Helgen. Yeah.
Eric.
I was like, amazing. Yeah, you should know this.
I thought you were talking about a different part in the story.
Yeah.
There are no excuses for that mistake you made.
Yeah, you should be amazed. I mean, wait, what? Doesn't make any sense.
I am amazed.
Ashamed. Yeah,
So
About Skyrim.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I thought
you're
it was
saying it looks really good.
Yeah, I thought it looked really good, and I was really, really confused because, like, before that's probably one of the games that I've ever played. That was the first game I'd ever played with that big of an open world map. So I was just confused, like, wait a minute, where am I supposed to go? It was, like, really overwhelming and, like, a little bit upsetting. It's like, but what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to follow, like, the yellow line on the map. What are all these icons? I can just go anywhere?
Don't worry. There's a spell that literally gives you a line on the ground where you're supposed to go.
I never used that spell.
Yeah,
you get it super early in the game.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, but once I got a hang of, like, you can go anywhere, I liked the idea, and I was no longer, like, worried about it. And I ended up doing way more side missions than anything else, because that was the best part of that game for me.
I remember, I never thought, like, the part about Skyrim never was the graphics for me. It was just the freedom that they gave you. Like how you said you could do really anything. It was like you're put in.
You totally can't.
It's like Skyrim with guns.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, now that I've played other games that have similar premises, I realize that it's not all that I thought it was. But back then, and we're talking about aesthetics, so we should probably stay on aesthetics.
Why is it so hard for you to say aesthetic?
Aesthetic. Aesthetic?
It's not aesthetic.
Aesthetic?
You need to go back to fourth grade English class.
Am I saying it right? Aesthetic.
Yes, you're good.
Aesthetic. Okay.
English clearly isn't your first language.
Clearly. Yeah, you know what they say about people from Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Yeah, that was probably the first game that I played, and I was like amazed by the graphics. What was the first game you guys ever played that you were like surprised that the graphics were that good?
Crisis 2.
I really liked Abzu.
Bruh.
You
That's
had
the
not
first game.
played an impressive game before Abzu? Didn't you play like Abzu like less than a year ago?
Maybe.
So no game had ever impressed you before that.
No.
Actually?
I mean, okay.
That's-
I was impressed by Battlefront, but it was like, oh man, this looks good. But other than that, Abzu was like, whoa, this looks really good. This is like enough to play the game by itself.
Really?
Yeah, it was really.
I always thought
really good.
Battlefield 3 looked really good. Just the gun models and then the lighting.
Oh yeah, I didn't play much of Battlefield 3, but I remember when I finally jumped on the Battlefield bandwagon with Battlefield 4. Because everyone kept telling me, that was like, back then I was like, dude, it's all about Call of Duty. And then people were like, no. It's all about, once you play Battlefield, you realize Call of Duty is like one of the worst shooters. And I'm like, nah, man. Call of Duty's where it's at. You got like survival, and you've got multiplayer where you can't survive for more than like 10 seconds. And it's great. I mean,
I love it.
I know that's also true with Battlefield. But at least, like...
Was your dream to become
If you're a
a
scrub
competitive
lord.
Call of Duty player?
Okay, you're telling me you've never just spawned and then just got immediately murdered in Battlefield?
No, but
It
that's
happens
because
to
I
everyone.
played Battlefield 200 hours plus.
So you're saying in those 200 hours you've never spawned and just been like, oh crap, I spawned in the middle of like fire going
No,
everywhere
but I
and
don't
now I'm
die
dead.
after 10 seconds every time.
Oh, I see. So this is a skill thing now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well,
No, Alex, we need to fight. Come on, I know where you live.
do you now?
He's right.
Honestly, like a couple years ago, watching you play games made my head hurt.
Oh, remember what game were we playing that I completely forgot how to play?
Every
gosh.
game ever.
I'm pretty sure it was a Battlefield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got Battlefield 4, played it for a while, stopped, came back to your house, and I was asking you how to play Battlefield 4.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what does this do again? I was like, Alex, you own this game, right?
Well, okay, but I am not about to play for PlayStation Plus. Did I say play for PlayStation
Wow.
Plus?
You sure did.
I'm not about to pay for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone should. Moving from PS3 to PS4, that bothered me so much. That was like one of the main reasons why I preferred PlayStation. And now it's gone to the abyss. The abyss
And
of
money,
money.
money, coming on with that too.
Money.
Paid online.
God, paid online
Hey,
is
but you
so
get-
dumb.
It's the cable of the
Microsoft
game
started it.
industry.
They had to rub their hands together like the Jews they are.
I mean, to be
Oh,
fair,
boy.
what I've heard is back then, like when they first introduced it with the original Xbox, it was way, way better. Like, the original Xbox is online. The servers actually worked, and like the
you cut out.
PlayStation 2 sucked. Did you get the gist of what I was saying, though?
Yeah, no, you didn't cut out for me.
Yeah, the PlayStation 2's servers apparently sucked, and the original Xboxes were good, so people thought that paying for online was fine, but once they moved to, I think the 7th generation is the one with 360 and PS3, then the PS3's servers were all basically just as good.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know why it took them so long to get parties. Like, parties is a new thing with the PlayStation 4. That's dumb.
Yeah.
But-
But the reason that the servers were so good back in the day is because there's so little people using it, like in comparison to now.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly doubt they've upgraded that much since then.
Oh, because maybe... And also, I'm sure that Microsoft just happened to have more servers lying around than Sony. Like, Sony made, like, TVs when they first jumped into the console market. They didn't, like, make servers. They didn't need to run anything. Where Microsoft's always been, like, a technology kind of head-first company.
Microsoft sucks.
I mean, Windows 10 is, like, they're like, hey, we give you the start menu back, but, like, everything else is a big middle finger. Like, why do Windows 10 background processes use like 5% of my CPU if I have like a $300 CPU? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear the past 10 seconds of what you just said.
Did I cut out?
He said, why should background processes of Windows take up 5% of his CPU?
Window.
Whatever.
Okay, I get you. Also, whenever I have to deal with Microsoft, like when they inexplicably make my password not eligible anymore, so I have to reset it, I actually want to kill myself. It's such a hassle.
Oh, actually?
Actually.
That never happened to me.
Oh, anytime I ever
me,
forget a
but-
password or anything, just because, like, I, use my own emails, Justin, it's really easy because I just get a notification on my phone and then change my password.
Yeah. You'd think it would be easy, right? But see, Microsoft, they make it a 5-step process. And also, I'm not even kidding. One time, I tried to log in on my Xbox One because it inexplicably signed me out. And I was like, okay, this is annoying. I have to type in everything on the Xbox, which takes like 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So I did, and they're like, that's not the right password. I'm like, oh, shoot. I gotta reset the password then, because what the heck. So I went through the 5-step process of resetting my password. Once I did that, they're like, you can't reset it. You can't make your new password your old password. I'm like, wait a minute.
How do you remember my old password?
Like, what? It's saying I can't make my new password my old password, but I can't use it to get in. What?
Oh, man.
It don't make no goddamn sense.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I hate Microsoft.
I didn't know, like, engines were a thing for, like, the longest time in video games. Like, I just assumed, like, well, they just took these images, like, they would just, like, create a model for a gun, and then they would just, like, code it in. I didn't understand you needed, like, a framework for everything to, like, insert all your models and stuff into. So when people were explaining, like, the first time I ever heard anyone talk about an engine was when, someone was trying to explain to me why, like, Crysis is, like, the best-looking game, and I was like, what are you talking about, CryEngine? What is an engine? Not driving a car. So, Tommy was talking about how one of the most impressive games for him was Crysis 2, which uses the CryEngine, which is interesting because Crytek says they're not going to make games anymore. They're going to mostly focus on just licensing out their engine, which is pretty cool because their engine's so supposed to be pretty dope. I haven't actually played any Crytek game. Actually, wait.
It's very dope.
It is very.
It's very dope.
Very.
What's so special about it? It just looks really good.
It's
Yes.
very good. Yeah, very good looking, and it's pretty good, like running. It's like the equivalent of what the Frostbite engine is now, but they made it in 2008.
Yeah, 2008 Crisis 1 is amazing for its
Incredibly good looking.
time. Yeah.
Well, Crysis 3 came out a while ago and is still used for, like, stress tests and, like, graphics comparisons.
Well, yeah, that's because the Crytek engine's kind of hard on the system for PC.
It's better optimized for console.
I don't know if it's better optimized, but it works fine on console. I mean, it's consoles don't exactly struggle to get 120 frames. They're just like, okay, 30, let's go. Especially on 360.
Yeah. I don't... Does it... Okay, I know Tommy is an advocate for, like... and I know we're kind of straying off the topic, but whatever. There's not a lot to talk about with engines and graphics. I know Tommy's more of an advocate for next-gen, quote-unquote, consoles than we are. But isn't it a little bit sad that they're like... The PS3, Xbox 360, all about 1080p 30 FPS. PS4, Xbox One, all about, guess what? 1080p 30 FPS. The exact same thing. Like...
Yeah, but the games are a lot better looking.
Yeah, that's true, but it's kind of a joke. Like, they didn't think about, I don't know.
Not really. It's not really that big of a
Alex,
deal on console.
have you ever heard Funhouse talk about the casual people who just who have jobs and lives and stuff, who just want to get home from work and play for like 30 minutes and then just go to bed? Yeah, and they don't care about frames per second.
Anyone who's been exposed to 60 FPS will not go back.
This arbitrary concept of...
I'm not saying it's
FPS.
arbitrary. I'm just saying the majority. Not necessarily the majority. Like, I don't know numbers.
A lot of people that play console don't care.
Yes.
My argument is anyone who's been actually legitimately exposed to stuff like 60 FPS gameplay is going to have a hard time going back.
I think more
That's
of the...
great. It's just that the casual person does not care.
Well,
30 FPS is just fine.
My argument is the casual person never gets exposed in the first place.
And
I think
they don't care to get exposed.
Once they get exposed, though, they can't go back. They don't know they need it until they get it. It's
after
like
someone plays a 60 FPS PC game, they're gonna immediately buy a $1,000 computer.
Not necessarily, but they're gonna go back to their handy dandy PS3 or PS4 and be like, "Wait a minute, that was way smoother than what I'm dealing with now." I mean, that's what happened with all of us. We were all console gamers until now we're on PC. I mean, besides you, Tommy, you don't have like a great graphics card.
Computer.
But your graphics card's kind of weak. But like, see,
Hey!
I'm not denying.
I had that graphics card for a while. Don't go talking crap about it.
You wouldn't play any AAA games, Justin, until you got your new one. That's my point.
Not true. It ran Overwatch just fine.
Overwatch is like the most easy to run AAA game on the planet.
Alex, I can run Battlefield 1 on medium. All right, it's okay. It's okay.
Do you get consistent 60 FPS?
I don't know, dude, but I can run it. That's all that matters to me. At least 30.
Well, my point.
I'm fine
There's
with
a bigger
30.
argument in saying...
I know you're not.
They're making people pay for pay more money for basically the same experience, but they have to if they want to get the new games.
All right, here's an argument. Most of these console manufacturers, they take a loss every time someone buys like an Xbox One and a PS4 when they first come out.
Why?
You guys aware of that? Because the amount of money it costs to make those consoles outweighs the amount of money they're charging for it up until a certain point when the hardware becomes cheaper to manufacture. And the reason they take a loss and they're willing to take a loss is because the amount of money they're going to make on royalties for someone who buys a PS4, because they're most likely going to buy at least 5 or 6 games, that money will add up and they'll actually make a profit. So in the long run, someone who buys all these $60 purchases, they may save money on not paying for things this would take a while, but after a while, they might actually start saving money when they're not spending $60 on AAA games because they have stuff like Steam, and they're not paying for online every month, which adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah, how much is it now?
50.
How much?
15?
Yeah.
$15 a month?
50.
Xbox
$58.
is 50 a year.
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was $100 a year.
No,
it has always been 50 a year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
PlayStation
It's pretty
Plus yearly.
Okay, but it's not I thought it was $15 a month.
Jesus Christ. No. That's some real jewelry going on.
Yeah, 1 year is $50.
And you can buy bulk for a little bit less.
How much is it per month, though?
Well, divide 50.
Well, no. They charge you
It's
more.
Oh, right. That would make sense.
And a lot of people, because when you first turn on your PlayStation... Oh, see, here's the thing. 3 months cost $25. And when you first, turn on your Xbox or PlayStation, and it says, you can put in your credit card here and forget about it, it doesn't have you do yearly, it has you do monthly. So they charge you, in over the year, they actually do end up charging you $100 if you've signed up monthly and forget about it.
Really?
That's how they get you.
That is how they, yeah. But I was thinking let's say you're someone who games for 5 years, right? And let's say you're just you're the average casual gamer who doesn't think about going to get a yearly gift card. They just they put in their credit card number because they don't really care about trying to. They're not looking for a deal. They just want to throw their console in. They're not trying to make sure that they're not getting gypped in every single way. We're just thinking about a casual person who just wants to game 30 minutes a day, Tommy. Right?
We get it. I get the picture.
Yeah, you get the picture. They game for about 5 years, so then they end up spending about $500 on online, and then you add that to how much the console costed when around for the first year it comes out. Consoles cost about $400, so they ended up spending $900. They could have got a lot better experience with a PC.
Yeah, but you gotta realize it's immediate cost of a PC. Not people can afford like small bits over time, but they can't afford like $1,000 with one payment.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's like
Alrighty,
buying a
guys.
car all down. It's like, would you rather get a car, like a really nice car for 20K down, or would you rather get like a less, like pretty less nice car, but you just paid like $50 a month?
But you're still paying $20K.
Well, like 25K. Because I now that I think about it, I have definitely wasted a ton of money. If I think about it, like,
Yeah, aren't you still paying for PlayStation Plus when you haven't turned on your PS4 in like a year?
I canceled that.
What about Xbox Online?
I'm pretty sure I canceled that.
Pretty sure, huh?
Pretty sure.
Well, they could be getting you.
They could be.
You should probably check.
Probably.
Yeah.
God, I hate Microsoft.
They're not as bad as EA.
No.
Well, of course EA. EA is the worst by far out of anything.
Well, I wouldn't say out of anything. I mean, you
Out
got
of
your
any
Hitler
gaming
analogy.
stuff. Monsanto's pretty bad.
Are they like an oil thing?
No, they're a seed company.
Which is?
Like agriculture.
What have they done wrong?
The biggest thing is that it's like, you know how people say they're too big to fail?
Yeah.
It's like that's like perfectly refers to them. Cause
So what exactly is wrong with them?
they have patented certain genes in seeds. And so
How do you? What?
yeah, so they genetically modify, like I think soy, and so they own these genes in soy, and so they have this thing called the Terminator gene, where it will kill off seeds, so farmers can't like use the crops that they grow to for seeds. They have to buy more seeds every year from Monsanto.
Whoa.
And
But
also,
that's like really stupid.
That's like
Capitalism.
yeah. That's like borderline. What's dystopia stuff right there? That's like ultra capitalism.
and another thing that they do is they basically like own the soy business.
Okay.
And so if you're going soy, you have to buy through them. You don't have to, but
You
it's
have to.
hard, yeah. And if you're not buying through them and you're growing soy, they will send like people onto your property. There's a documentary about this, where this guy would stay out on his field with a shotgun, protecting his crops from being tested, because they'll test it to see if it tests positive for the gene that they own.
Wait, isn't that illegal to just go on your property and test it?
I mean, yeah, but they're Monsanto.
So couldn't he sue them for doing that?
I mean, they sued him, and
For
they
what?
because they found that he had the gene in his crops, but what really happened was his neighbors were buying the seeds from them, and wind blew over and carried the gene into his crops.
Oh yeah, I was talking about something about that like a while ago, huh?
Yeah, and it's like just it's all really bad. And so all these farmers that get sued by them, even if they're completely innocent, they have to settle because it's too expensive to pay the court bills rather than just to pay Monsanto. So,
well, that was a pretty crazy interlude we just had there. So game engines.
Playing Far Cry, man. Cry engine, I think.
No, Far Cry uses the Dunya engine or something.
Far Cry 3.
Dunya
That's
engine.
dumb.
Far Cry 3.
It's a pretty good engine. I
I thought Far Cry 3 was still
Yeah,
on
Far Cry
Cry
looks really good.
Yeah, I will look up the engine right now. I can't remember the name.
I'm looking it up.
Okay,
Oh.
well, I'm already on it.
Oh wait, actually, I take it back about abs. Far Cry 4 actually really.
You cut out.
When I first saw Far Cry 4, I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, it does look really good.
Same,
So,
actually, same.
Far Cry 1 and 2 used to be owned by Crytek, which is
Really?
why they're called Far Cry.
Oh, no wonder Far Cry 1 looks so similar to Crysis.
Yeah. So, then they sold it to Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, when in between Far Cry 2 and 3's creation. And so Far Cry 3 and 4 run Ubisoft's custom engine, the Dunya engine, which looks really good. I don't know how you pronounce it, if it's Dunya or Dunya. It's spelled Dunia.
Probably Dunia.
The fur looks really
No wonder
good.
Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 2 are so far apart in terms of gameplay.
Why does everything completely change?
Yes. Far Cry 2 and Far Cry 3 are literally nowhere near each other in terms of gameplay.
Yeah. I can
Like
attest
if
to
you
that.
if you play Far Cry 2, you're like, whoa, this is not the same game. Like Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, they're basically the same game, honestly.
Yeah.
I haven't played either of those. I've played Far Cry 4.
Yeah, Far Cry 4 I like a lot better than Far Cry 3. But it's because Far Cry 4 is more like Far Cry 3.5. Like, it's just like, take all the same missions, tweak them a little bit, put it in my opinion, a much better map, and add, like, random cool abilities like riding elephants and, like, hang gliding. It's
yeah,
like...
but the reason I'm not playing Far Cry right now is because it's just like, I play it and I'm like, dude, this is just Far Cry 3. Like, I'm already bored.
Well, I didn't play Far Cry 3. Like, I played Far Cry 4 first. I'm playing Far Cry 3 right now as we're recording. But I played Far Cry 4 first. By the way, I think I'm watching a cutscene where the protagonist is about to have sex with this lady.
Nice.
Not quite.
Does they stop or something?
Oh, crap.
Still see.
I have the audio cut, so I just have to judge by their Oh, I guess not. Okay. Next time then. I mean, you see in like a montage at the beginning of the game that you're like screwing her, so I'm waiting at some point. Every time I come
on it.
Yeah, every time I come back to this location, I'm like, okay.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it. Get ready. Prepare yourself. Man, that's a really dumb looking necklace. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I mean, okay, I haven't played Are you saying that Far Cry 1 looks just like Crysis 1?
Yeah.
Because I remember...
It's just like a more primitive Crysis.
Because I remember playing Crysis 1 at Austin's house when, like, it first came out. or like a little bit after it first came out, and it looked amazing. And I have Far Cry 1 in my library on Steam, and when I look at like thumbnails, the gameplay looks it looks so bad. I know it came out a while ago, but it's just amazing that like that was what was considered like revolutionary.
I was gonna say like that game is not a good game.
Far Cry 1?
Far Cry 1 is not a good game.
Did you play it?
I did play a little bit. I don't know when. I think I was at like a distant relative's house. And I played it, and it was like cool to me because I was like 8 years old. But like looking back, I've looked at gameplay. I'm like, yeah, this is just a really primitive Crysis.
Yeah, I mean, which game came out first though? Maybe they were just put more of their efforts into Crysis.
I really hope Far Cry 1 came out first, because Crysis is a far superior game.
Let me see.
What?
No matter
What
which
even
way you put
happens
it.
in Crysis? I've never played it. Never
Well,
heard
it's a-
anything about it.
Aliens.
Crysis release date. See, Crysis came out in November 13th, 2007. And Far Cry release date came out in Far Cry. I have to put 1 because it's telling me Primal, and I don't care. Oh, geez. Far Cry 1 came out in 2004.
Yeah.
Like,
that makes
that's
sense.
3-year difference. Okay. Yeah.
Have any of us like played Far Cry 1? Like finished it?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Not me.
And I don't think any of us plan to.
Yeah.
I have it in my library, but...
I also have it in my library.
Oh, did you get, like, the jumbo pack of all the Far Cries?
I think so.
Yeah, I did too.
Maybe you should play it. Let's
This-
give us a taste.
Yeah, right now?
Right now. Let's go.
Why
Well,
not?
I would have to install it. It's probably, like, 2 megabytes.
No balls.
I'm on fire!
No balls.
Yeah, I guess I could play it. Yeah. What was I gonna say? God, 2004, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sure was.
It kind of weirds me out how YouTube was only invented in 2000,
You cut out right when you
created.
said what year.
2000 what?
2005. It seems
really?
way too recent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude.
that seems old.
And it's now the second biggest web browser on the planet.
Web browser.
Yeah.
Well, more people... I mean, search engine, not web browser. Isn't that ridiculous that it's the
Wait,
second
is
biggest
YouTube
search
considered
engine?
a search engine?
Well, yeah, because you search and then you get results.
Is that what defines a search engine?
Yeah.
Oh.
You type in a query and you get results.
Okay.
Isn't that ridiculous? People are like, dude, you gotta go with Bing or Yahoo. Trust me, man. But YouTube, a video-only platform, is doing better than all of those search engines that can go through like any kind of result, not just videos.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. Yeah, hats off to
I mean-
Google, man. They
I'm honestly kind of worried about Google.
yeah, why?
Like, they own so much that they could just flip out. And
Oh.
that's that. We're done.
Yeah, that's why I was I wanted to create like cuz we're moving away from like Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff to like owning digital movies. And right now Blu-rays still look slightly better than like Netflix and stuff just because they can put more data on there. Like you still have to stream it over the internet. But it's getting pretty close. And so I was thinking like, well, if I'm going to have this like what?
Nothing.
If I'm gonna have this digital library of movies for the rest of my life, like, I mean, obviously it could change at some point, but if I buy like 30 movies in the next like 5 to 10 years, like, I don't want to be like, oh, switch platforms. So I was thinking about it pretty heavily, like, where do I want to go with? Like, the 3 biggest ones are iTunes, Amazon, and Amazon Video, and Google Movies. Like, because I don't know if you know this, but like you can buy and rent pretty much any movie through Google. So I was like, Google is pretty cool because like everything looks all futuristic and googly and YouTubey and stuff like that.
Googly.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you can watch movies you bought through the YouTube app. So I was like, oh, that'd be cool. But then I was thinking like, but Amazon has like if a company was gonna die, I would pin it on Google before Amazon died. So I was like,
Really?
yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna stick with Amazon, and so I went with Amazon.
has actual physical purchase.
Although Amazon is like every year, or like for most years, ends up with like a loss. Like they do not profit.
Yeah, but they have a lot more physical, like, assurance.
Yeah, they have a huge stake in
Well, if they
everyday lives.
Because Google is pretty much
how do they
only
keep in
online.
business if they lose money every
Although,
year?
Justin, do you realize
Just 'cause
that
they're-
Google has the biggest profit, like after you get rid of like taxes and stuff, like not revenue, profit of any company on the planet?
I know,
Really?
but I'm just saying, like, if something were to happen to the internet, because that's not something that's out of the question.
Oh,
Their
right.
company fails.
Yeah, things go out of fashion on the internet all the time. You go from like Vine and MySpace and Facebook and Instagram, like stuff like social media is changing all the time. And I know Google isn't like social media, but like
that's the thing, they're
YouTube
starting to
is
turn
a
into
social
one.
media. Yeah, like YouTube is a social media service. Well, like I don't, you can call it whatever you want. It's social media.
Also, Eric, a company doesn't have to make a profit to be profitable. I know that didn't make any sense, but trust me.
I'm confused.
Like, yeah, explain
Please
yourself.
explain.
Just
don't
because
know
they're
anything
not
about
making
business.
a profit after their budget and everything doesn't mean they're not expanding.
You have like people who are investing heavily in their company, and so their stock prices still go up.
Their people are still getting paid. It's just they're not making as much as they thought they would.
But if they're losing money, how are they making up?
That's not.
They lose money, but because they have, and in the last like 3 years, they've actually made a little bit of money. But for like the first 5, they lost money every year. But because so many people joined every year, like huge investors, which is where most of these startup companies make their money from investors, said, hey, every year this service gets every month this service gets like another 10 million people who regularly buy stuff through it on the internet, and they're like not going to stores anymore, they're only going to Amazon. We should invest in this. And Amazon, I watched an interesting video. Have you guys heard about the Amazon grocery stores?
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What you cut
That
out?
looks sick.
Yeah, so how you can you just walk in, it scans your phone, you walk out, and it knows everything you picked up and that's in your bag, and it scans your phone again and charges your account. That, while it looks cool for grocery stores, that's way bigger than anyone really thinks, because think about this. Once you start going to grocery stores, right, and you just start walking out in Amazon grocery stores, how can other grocery stores compete? They can't, because you will just drive an extra 5 miles not to have a deal with like an annoying person who has to scan all your stuff, because you're like a busy person. So then all these grocery stores have to compete, and they're not going to rebuild their grocery stores. They're going to have to retrofit it with the technology. It's not like Albertsons is going to start designing this advanced technology, so they're going to license it from Amazon. So Amazon's going to start making money. And
That's
then
what we in the business call a monopoly.
yeah, and
I'm
then
just
like Big Five and like Sports Authority and like Dickies and all these places are gonna be like, what if we could sell our shoes where you just put them on your feet and you walk out and you don't have to talk to a person either? And then they're gonna be like, well, we can't make that technology because we don't want to invest in that. Well, Amazon has it, we can just license it from them. And then every single store on the planet is going to be licensing Amazon's technology of just walking out.
that kind of worries me, because what about all these people who rely on these things for jobs?
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem with
That's
the
just the
monopoly.
problem of this new millennia, dude. No jobs, they're all going to robots now.
And then the interesting thing is, like, the argument after that would be, well, if it's, like, eventually we're going to be, like, getting stuff delivered by, like, drones and no one's going to want to go to a store. Well, Amazon owns that too. So all the people who stop going to the Amazon Easy Lift stores and start deciding to only shop on the internet are going to be using Amazon too. So customer moves from a store that uses Amazon's technology that Amazon only makes a little bit of money off of, to moving to Amazon.com, where Amazon makes all the money off of. Amazon's going places. I mean, there already are places, but like,
Do you have stock in Amazon?
no, because their stock is like $700, $800 a stock.
Whoa. Oh my god.
Yeah. When they split, I'll invest.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Money.
Dude, this just turned into the stock market podcast.
Yeah, the stock market. Alex knows everything about the stock market. He couldn't possibly be wrong about anything. All these people invest in Amazon and they go out of business tomorrow. It turns out Eric was right. Amazon can't run without making money. Who knew?
Well, we gonna have like a timer for this?
I don't know. I don't know how long we've been doing this.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't have a timer going. Yeah.
Well, we got anything else?
Wasn't I having a debate with you about how, like, it was something about splitting stocks and how...
Oh, yeah, I can't, it's something about, yeah, you were saying how, we were talking about how basically, I don't know, do you guys know what splitting stocks means? Tommy,
No,
Justin?
no.
Basically what it is when, and this is like the really, like, for dummies version, because I don't know that much about it either, but when, like, when people invest in stocks become more valuable, and therefore their price goes up. So you start at like a certain price, like you start at like $5, and then stocks will keep going up, and then Apple will have like, one day Apple's stock will be like $1,000, and then at that point you end up alienating a lot of people, like just random like Joe on the side of the road who like only has like $100 to invest, and like people who just want to invest like a couple $1,000s, and they don't want to buy 3 stocks with their $3,000. They want to get like a good amount of stock, right? So then these big companies will do what they call splitting, which is where they'll take their $1,000 stock and they'll split it into 10 $100 stocks. So now their company is made up of more stocks. So all the people who had stock in the first place get 10 times as much stock as they used to. And then they end up, usually their stock prices, they end up making profit off of that, because people who couldn't afford to invest in the first place now have the money to, because the stock is like a tenth the price as it used to be. Are you guys following me?
Yeah.
So we were talking about how me and Eric were talking about how Eric was saying, why don't they just split like every day, because then more and more people would,
That's not what I was saying.
or like split like more often, right?
That's not what I was saying at all.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
I was saying,
I can't remember. We had this conversation like 2 years ago, so
yeah.
can go ahead.
I mean, just us talking about stocks brought it up again. So I was saying how splitting stocks is also good for the people who already had stocks, because it doubles the stocks they own already.
Yes. Although
And
you have
so-
to acknowledge that the stocks, they're not worth anymore.
Yeah, but as stock goes up, it's gonna be worth more, because
Alex,
let's say,
this sounds a lot like...
I brought this example up through when we were talking about it. So if you buy one stock, it's worth, say, $50, and the stock doesn't split, but it goes up $1.
So you have
And so now
$51.
So you have $51. And so, but rather, if the stock were to split when you had $50, and so you had 2 stocks of 25, and the stock price raised up $1, you'd have $52.
So the answer to that, I actually know the answer to that now. And
Okay.
This is like a super dumb conversation for Justin and Tommy. They seem bored out of their mind. Stocks that are I don't know why, but stocks that are valued higher will raise like way more money to like adjust for that issue itself. Like if you look at Google stock that's worth like $1,000, every day, like on a good day they'll go up like $20, and if you look at Apple stock that's worth like $90 because they split, or it's worth like $110 because they split, on a good day it'll go up $1. Because it has to adjust for the amount of stocks there are. So like more valuable stocks will go up more
It's
money.
almost like it's a percent or something.
Well, I did not know that.
Yeah, almost like it's a percent or something. It's exactly what that is.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Also, this splitting sounds a lot like people who get in big groups and buy real estate. Who partake in that?
Continue. I'm not following 100%.
There's companies that'll say, hey, people, if you give us money, then we'll invest it with other people's that also.
You were telling me about a big.
It's kind of like a timeshare, but it's not.
Oh yeah. There's those big companies where they say like, don't trust yourself to invest in stocks. Like, just give us your money and we know where to invest.
Not quite. There's specific companies that will specifically invest in real estate.
Oh, because
Right.
they know where they know where real estate's going to appreciate.
Yeah. And then you give them money, and then they, in theory, they get a lot of people's money, and then that's enough to buy real estate, and then they give you a percent based on how much money you
Weren't
give.
you telling me about some guy who was doing that, but he just pocketed the money, Alex?
Oh yeah, that's called a Ponzi scheme. It's where that it doesn't relate to like the real estate thing, but it was what I was saying where there's groups that'll say like, hey, give us money and we know where to invest it for you, and we just take a small cut. And so then what some like, not some, but like I don't know how many companies have actually been caught doing this, but some of them will just pocket all of the money and keep sending you like emails saying like, your money is appreciated this much, but really they just are just taking all of the money. And because they're getting money from so many people and they're lying to so many people saying that their like bank account is going up, they have enough money to like give you back some of your money when you want to like withdraw. So they never come into the issue where like, because what's the likelihood that like everyone's gonna withdraw on the same day?
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to happen. So they have enough money to keep lying to you and telling you that you're making profit with, and then like the day that you come and withdraw, they can give you your money.
That's super shady.
But then what happens is when they get caught and everybody wants to pull out because they realize that this is illegal and they're not actually making any money, the company doesn't have enough money to give it back to people. And then what happens is sometimes like they end up giving it back to like only the rich guys. So like the people who maybe invested their whole retirement into this company, which was like only like $30,000, don't get their money back, but the guy who invested like 10 million does because he's high priority.
Yeah. Dang. Well, this has been real interesting.
Yeah, this this has been a great,
Eye-opening.
an eye-opening conversation. Disclaimer: 75% of everything we've said has been incorrect.
It's been what?
Incorrect.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, maybe not, but I'm just going to claim that just in case anyone wants to roast us saying that we don't know anything.
So that can be part of the 75% of things we say that are incorrect.
Yeah, that
is that.
Sure. So then everything is.
You've created a paradox for yourself.
Damn it.
I sure have.
The statement is false.
It's just what Moose Mimi wanted.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this, come back next
I
week.
doubt it.
We're gonna do this.
What was that, Tommy? You want to speak a little bit louder?
Yeah,
Oh, nothing. I didn't say anything.
This goes up every Monday. So, except for when it's not. Thanks for hanging out with us for, I'm gonna
Hey,
assume
what
an
about the
hour and a
sponsor
half.
bot?
I can't. Oh yeah. We forgot to do the sponsor spot.
Oh no.
Go ahead.
Jeez.
All right, I wanted to thank Square Crate for sponsoring this episode.
Great.
Square Crate is the quick and easy way to receive crates of websites in the mail. Have you ever wanted to create your own website, but you didn't actually want to create it? You just wanted to receive it in a box through the mail? Well, you just contact Square Crate, and they send you your own pre-built
What's
website.
the theme this month?
The theme this month is Carnegie Hall and
Carnegie Hall.
leprosy.
Ooh, dual theme.
It's
I like
it's a dual theme. They have a little like percentage bar where you can choose, like, let's say you want like 10% Carnegie Hall, 90% leprosy, or like 50-50. You can mix and match.
Spin the dial.
Great deal.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
For real though,
Crank up
what's
that
wrong
Carnegie.
with subscription boxes? Honestly?
Yeah, like, okay, here's my thing about subscription boxes. I know that, like, I'm sure you could argue, you know how their thing is, like, you get $40 worth of stuff every month for, like, $15? Like, maybe that's true, but the thing is, the $15 that I spend, I could probably just add something to my cart in Amazon, not sponsored by Amazon, and, just buy something that I actually like instead of getting $40 worth of junk that I don't want.
Yeah. Seriously, all of it is useless unless like you get a T-shirt.
Yeah, and usually you could find a cooler T-shirt that you would like more.
All right, I don't think we need to go into another tangent. I think we should wrap this up.
What are you talking about?
My name is Alex,
My name's Tommy.
My name's Justin.
My name's Eric.
and thank you for listening. And you're watching Disney Channel.